Welcome to the Pulse of the Parish podcast. We are so excited to have our friends at Nunez Community College here with us today. We have Mr. Brian Gibson, Director of Workforce Development, Julie Rexford, Director of STEAM, and the Chancellor, Dr. Tinney. So if you guys could, a lowball question to start off with, just introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what your work in your department entails. And we'll start with you, Brian, if you can. Or we can start anywhere.
Hi, as she said, I'm Brian Gibson, Director of Workforce Development at Nunez Community College. I started March of last year, and it's been incredible year so far. Interacting with the students and my fellow faculty, getting to know them, and we're like one family, one big family. We actually are. So my job entails meeting with industry partners, different companies, finding out what they need as far as training, what positions they're looking for, and matching that with our students. And so it was COVID kind of slowed it down, but now we're revving up. Yep. Our calendar is every day getting fuller and full with just the meetings and having tangible meetings, tangible discussions, right? Not just pie in the sky discussions. Really trying to figure out how Nunez can best help assist the workforce.
Awesome.
So that's pretty much what I do.
Perfect.
Yes, I'm the Director of STEAM programs over at Nunez. And I have kind of a dual role. I do both. Well, first off, I'm going to back up and explain what STEAM is. And so it's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And a lot of people, they know of STEM education, but then when they hear, what is STEAM? And that A is not, it can be fine arts, but it is actually also the art of design. Anything and STEM skills are typically, it's not just learning those skills, but it's using them to solve real world problems. And so there's always an art of design when you're creating. So whether you're coding, whether you're building or engineering a project, there's a level of art to it. And so, but what I do is I am building programs both in two sectors. One for adults and devising programs where people can come and get skills, and then particularly in STEM industries. And they are outside of the normal credit courses. So they could be one-day workshops or a week-long training, and they can be very, very specific, like a CNC router or forklift, bulldozer. So different types of very specified types of training. And it could be, over a short period of time. And then I also do K-12 initiatives. So developing programs for students in K-12 to build those STEAM skills. So we have everything from robots. I just had a First Lego League robotics team that actually won first place in one of the categories at the state competition. I was super proud of them. But teaching that, drones, teaching engineering projects, different things of that nature. And so, also working with schools to continue to embed and understand what STEM education is and embedding that into their curriculums and things of that nature.
Well, we're so glad to have you. I know this is a newer position created at Nunez, so thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And Dr. Tinney?
Thank you, Meaghan, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today, because it's always good for some visibility for the college, for people to understand what we do. We are the only post-secondary institution in St. Bernard Parish and here in this particular area. And most people associate post-secondary education with the academic pathway, and we certainly have that as a major part of our mission. So we are affordable, we are accessible, but the other part of our mission is workforce development. The end goal for either student is to get a job, right? And it's a job that places them on the path to a career. So we're excited to really have developed a robust workforce program at the college. We have great faculty and staff, as evidenced by two stellar employees here today with me. I mean, it really does, they say it takes a village, and so we really do have just a great group of people right now who are focused on the mission of the college. And as I said, we appreciate the opportunity because there's a lot happening at Nunez Community College. There's a lot of diversification of programs, expansion of opportunities, of accessibility, delivery of instruction in, flexible ways, particularly prompted through COVID. So we have so many programs that people can easily tap into so that they can cross-train, up-train.
Reskill.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I'll just say this. I work at the Economic Development Foundation here in St. Bernard Parish and really have been so honored to be able to work with Nunez Community College because it's uncommon that you have a community college system or even a community college in your parish that is so nimble, so willing to be responsive to industry needs, and so really just so adaptable to whatever we see as an opportunity to make our economy stronger, to make our community more competitive, especially as as I work to attract new businesses to the parish, to create jobs for people and really build opportunity here. So we're glad to have you all, and I guess we'll just dive in if we can. We've seen, Nunez has this really amazing lightning fast responsiveness to our community needs, especially post-Ida. So, Ms. Rexford, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about what you did post-Hurricane Ida to really be responsive to the community needs, knowing that people were waiting on, insurance claims. There was such a backlog of people who are waiting for companies to be able to, to fix their homes. Right. Tell us about those programs, because I personally just bought a home in July and wished that I was able to attend them. And I think, these are exactly the type of programs that people in our community can easily participate in. So.
Definitely. Well, definitely after Ida, we started looking at how, what are going to be the needs. And we all know, living here in South Louisiana, the rebuilding stages. And so we devised a series of workshops that kind of mirrored where people would be in the rebuilding stage. So, starting with just basic, the first one was really learning how to use hand tools. And we also discussed insurance and flood and mold remediation, things of that nature. So that beginning stage of recovery. And then we worked from there. So we did sheetrocking. We did how to install floors, how to install lighting fixtures. So we went through and kind of thought as they were proceeding through the recovery, where would they be, and kind of did it in a sequential order. And so we did some of it in-house when we had experts, but then we also brought in guest speakers, experts in their fields, to help us with how to lay floors, how to install light fixtures and things of that nature. So we had a good turnout, and even me participating, I learned new things, and it was really cool. And I'm definitely going to be looking at doing that just as a community basis of doing those in the future,
Awesome.
For home repairs. We don't need a storm. We all have those needs, and in that respect. So definitely.
Awesome. Thank you for mentioning that. And the reason I wanted to start the conversation there was because I want to reframe what people think of the community and technical colleges that we have in our region. Nunez has really been a pioneer in creating these programs that aren't what you think of when you think of a 2-year associate's degree program or a school that provides those programs. Nunez is doing so many incredible, amazing things that people like me who maybe already have a 4-year degree can easily, benefit from. So I just wanted to start the conversation there because I think a lot of people might think, when they're listening to this podcast, that we're just going to talk today about, the common programs that you would see at a community or technical college, but that's not what this conversation is about. So I just wanted to start there. Thank you for doing that. And selfishly, I'm just very glad to hear that we're going to be doing that, not necessarily as a response to hurricanes in the future, but just, kind of, proactively. So thanks for that. Brian, I do want to give you a chance to talk because we originally met when you were in your position at Tri-Parish Works as Business Services Coordinator, where he did a really great job reaching out to different businesses and listening to their hiring needs, their workforce needs. And so it was a direct, and really hopefully a seamless transition for you to enter this Director of Workforce Development position at Nunez. Because now not only are you hearing what the businesses need, but you're actually in a position where you can create programs that meet those needs. So if you could just maybe talk to us about some of the workforce development programs that Nunez has in place, and let the community know what they can do to either get certified or, train themselves so that they can take advantage of some of the job opportunities we have here.
Well, I tell you, it's like I said before, it's a pleasure to be at Nunez, and not only do I work with the businesses and things like that, but I also get a chance to interact with students.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I love that aspect of the job. Little career counseling as well. Some students come to hang out in my office, but it gives me a chance to find out what do you want to do, and try to develop a pathway for them. But as far as training that we have, we're starting a machining program. So Julie and I work, I tell you, in tandem. We,
Yeah, you've got to.
and everyone
we overlap
should.
in several areas. And so, yes.
Absolutely, and everyone
Collaborate.
should,
Yeah,
right?
we definitely collaborate. Yes.
Because people have strengths,
Yes.
right? So you need to feed off of someone else's strengths, and to learn from that. So I definitely feed off of Julie and learn a lot. But we started a machining program, and it's actually starting in March.
March 21st. Yes.
Yeah. And the instructor was a former graduate of Nunez, and he's excited about coming back for this program. And hopefully we can get him on full time. But he's starting out as an adjunct, but he's excited about starting the program. So he's putting it together for us.
Can I share a little
of
bit
course.
about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
The way we designed this machining program is it'll be 2 nights a week for 3 hours each night. But if a person starts on March 21st, within 14 months, they could be a fully certified advanced machinist with the NIM certifications. Each class, they'll come out with a certification for each level that they go through. But so within a 14-month period of time, coming in the evenings, they could leave fully certified in advanced machining. And there is great opportunity in the advanced manufacturing sector for that type of skill. So to be able to offer that, we're very excited about starting that. But I just want to, people don't realize, when you hear machinist, but that aspect of we laid it out that they could do that within 14 months, be fully certified.
Yeah. And I
With
think
companies, I'm sorry, with
No, go.
companies they're already expressing interest to
yes.
hire.
Yes.
that's the most important piece.
And we're
Yes.
working towards an apprenticeship
Oh, great.
with these companies. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I think that's the uniqueness that community and technical colleges bring, right? Is that they have connections with industry, they know what the needs are, they can meet those needs, and they place people in a program that is directly applicable to what they would be doing on the job versus what people like me did and go to a liberal arts college and take a bunch of different classes and see what sticks. So I really applaud you all for the work that you're doing. Dr. Tinney, I did want to give you an opportunity to talk about some of the other programs that you guys have in the works, especially the ones that relate to the Geno Inc. jobs forecast that's released every year.
And those types of or those pieces of information really do help guide us in terms of where we want to, put effort and energy into developing programs that meet industry partner needs. So as you know, Meaghan, you are in the economic development world, which is critical to us. We're in the workforce development because the two go hand in hand. So we have to pay particular attention to what industries are coming, where there's an uptick in terms of need for employees. So that type of forecasting is critical. We know that we also have to take into account certain considerations for our particular region and just listen. So it's a different time right now, I think, in terms of academia, because instead of the colleges going to the industry partners and saying, this is what we have, we're coming to the table to listen to this is what you need, right? So we are learning from our industry partners and trying to, as you said, be nimble and deliver. One of the things that was mentioned was a 14-month program. We have programs that range in terms of time. So with the community and technical colleges, I think it is important. You said people have a different idea, right? And so we constantly want to bring people on. COVID made it difficult to see what we have because it's not the 4-year model. We have rolling enrollments that you can take part in at any time, and then the time sequence is different per program. So for for our particular region, we're looking at the major industry sectors. So cybersecurity, which is affecting huge part of all of the employer considerations. So that will be coming online and available in fall 2022. We also just signed a maritime articulation agreement. We know, and I also serve on the statewide maritime task force. So that is to respond to the maritime workforce. We're the #1 maritime employer in the country. We have the #1 port, and
Yes.
yet, what
And
are we
port
doing
system,
to
yes.
right? What are we doing to support the maritime workforce? So I'm excited to work with industry partners and listen to those needs. We currently are having conversations with associated terminals so that we can actually build out something specific to them after they inform us of what it is, that meets their greatest need. Here in St. Bernard Parish, we know that we have a huge film industry, and in the greater New Orleans region. And so we have, again, partnered with the Digital Media Institute so that we can make that program available to students in the area. So, yes, and of course the healthcare needs. So we work closely with Oxner and, our medical partners so that we're providing the workforce in a timely fashion so that we can meet those needs, on demand. So I appreciate you letting us give some definition, because when people say go to college, how do you define college? It's not necessarily a 4-year sequential process of taking a multitude of classes. We are very flexible. We are very nimble. We are very affordable. We're about half the price. And we work with business partners so that we can make training accessible, such as with Tri-Parish Works. We look for funding opportunities through scholarships, through institutional aid. So, we're working on all fronts to make sure that we're able to get people into a quality career.
Yep. And you're doing an incredible job. I think most communities of this size do not have so much opportunity for students at the K through 12 level to engage with their community college. I know you have a partnership with Chalmette High School as well. And so we're just, I'll say from an employer standpoint, I can only imagine that they're so grateful for everything that you're doing at Nunez to make things easier for them. Everyone across the nation has been hearing about the Great Resignation, the shifts that people are making, especially, when it comes to being a part of the workforce. And so I'm just so thankful to have you as a partner. I did want to take a second to mention here at the Economic Development Foundation, we just formed a workforce collaborative, which Nunez is a partner on. And so that's really just going to give the community an opportunity to let us know what the workforce needs are and have everyone at the table every month or so, just so that we can all talk about the workforce programs that you're creating, the STEAM programs that you're creating at Nunez, and then make sure that everything is in alignment. Because I think so many of us who work in this industry in economic development, workforce development, have these conversations as a one-off. I know Brian's probably have it, yes, and we're all kind of operating in silos, which has worked really well because we are a small community. But I just wanted to take a point of personal privilege to mention that today. We're so thankful to have Nunez a part of those conversations, especially because I know they're not just going to be conversations. They are going to be productive meetings where we're talking about, what the needs are for this community, and then turning that into tangible programs that people, can register to be a part of. So we're thankful to have you for that. And I also just wanted to indulge you for a second. If you could tell us about the skill shop, I think that's also really exciting. I know you have so much going on, so there's no way that you aren't going to forget something. But
I'll talk about the skill shop for just a minute.
Of course.
And
No,
I'll
please.
let you all chime in. But the skill shop actually came as a new and unique opportunity for Nunez Community College, both the students and the community. It is a fully equipped skill shop where people can fabricate, design, and execute these particular projects. And it happened, all came into being right before COVID, when we were going to have the ribbon cutting. And so that got delayed, and I believe it is scheduled for next week.
It is. We actually had another one in Hurricane Ida hit.
Yes. So we do
the
want to
23rd,
invite
yes.
the 23rd. We want to
Yes.
invite the community to come
Yes.
see what that is, because you can get a membership to that, much like a gym membership, and you can go in and use all of the equipment and materials that are there. But just to give you some idea that when COVID hit, the program managers of the skill shop contacted me and said, Dr. Tinney, we have all of the equipment in here that we can help produce the PPE, the PPE. So, and the ventilator parts and so forth, we can manufacture that. So they immediately sort of went into production and became a very, instrumental part of the response to COVID. We were making the nasal swabs for the COVID testing and so
Wow.
forth, and people may not even be aware that was being done right here at
St. Bernard,
in
at
St.
Nunez.
Bernard at Nunez as a result of just the facilities and equipment that we have. So we're excited to bring that online, not just for our students, but for the community, at large. So we're excited to host that ribbon cutting next week and definitely invite our community partners to come in and see what we have to offer.
Awesome. I cannot wait. Did you want to mention something?
I was just going to say that to understand the scope of the tools that are in there, and because it is, when we say skill shop, well, what does that entail? So we have, of course, if you walked in, you're going to immediately see a lot of the standard woodworking aspect, but then you also have high tech machinery such as CNC routers and laser cutters. We have a whole room full of 3D printers and a whole computer lab for the designing process with Adobe Creative Suite and other 3D modeling programs and things of that nature. So the aspect of somebody can come and learn those skills. You don't have to have those skills. You can join that membership and get the help from the faculty to learn those skills. You have an idea, we've had several entrepreneurs come in and rapid prototype in that space ideas that they have. So if you haven't, I got something I'm thinking about creating, but I wouldn't know where to begin. Well, the place to begin is in our skill shop. And so the resources there are tremendous.
And I'll just, to your point, Julie, one of those entrepreneurial minds used our skill shop to create that adaptive toilet seat for disabled. And that prototype went forward into a competition, and he won, and it brought him to Dubai as part of that process. So, we really are proud of the fact that we have these opportunities and programs to offer to the community because, when the community prospers, we all prosper.
Definitely.
And I don't want it to be the best kept secret anymore. I want
No,
everyone
we
to
do
know.
not want to be a secret.
That's it, exactly.
Truly, Nunez has been such a gem to this community, especially post-Katrina and under Dr. Tinney's leadership. And I'm just excited that we get this time today to kind of talk about all the great things that you're doing. Another one that I wanted to bring up was, I know prior to recording, we were just discussing how Brian's wife wrote a cookbook. And so I wanted to mention your partnership with the Southern Food and Beverage Museum.
Yes.
And give you the opportunity to just kind of indulge us
Yes,
and talk
I
about
will.
what's going on there. Because, again, the point of this conversation today is for all of our listeners to rethink community and technical colleges, especially Nunez, because everything that you have going on there is so unique, and we really just want to give you a chance today to promote that, especially this new partnership.
Well, as I said, we have a great group of people who are very forward-thinking, right, in terms of what, innovations and initiatives that we're bringing forward. So in terms of 2022, so much has been muted during COVID, and so now we were just talking about the fact that, calendars are full and we have so much that's happening. But we are highly anticipating 2022 for 3 major projects to actually get executed instead of just discussed and planned for.
The fun part.
Right, and so the Southern Food and Beverage Museum, we are the beneficiaries of an entire collection of artifacts and archived hospitality and culinary artifacts that will be displayed on the second floor of our library. So we are in the process right now of re-envisioning that entire second floor because truthfully, the library is becoming more of a learning commons space because so much can be accessed now digitally. But where are the opportunities to go in and learn and do some research and just see a collection that really is just a critical part of our culture here in St. Bernard and in the New Orleans area. So we are so proud of the fact. I want to commend one of our board members, Liz Williams, who brought that forward for us to consider, and we immediately, of course, said, yes, we want to make this happen. So we're very excited to bring that online. Adjacent to the SOFAB will be an Isleño archive as well for research purposes. There was an entire collection of oral histories, decimas, information artifacts as well. And, of course, I'm biased to wanting to make sure that the community is aware of the influence of the Isleños here in the development of St. Bernard Parish. So that will also be on the second floor of the library. And then, of course, outdoors, we had entered into a competition for Voyage Mark, which is an outdoor walking exhibit of the entire solar system. So anyone at any time can actually walk our campus and there's stanchions of the solar system laid out to scale. So that's incredible. We won that competition, and currently there's only 4 Voyage Marks in the United States. This next series, there was an initiative to create 100, but the phase 1, it's called Generation 1, there's only 12. So we're one of the first 12. We are Community 9, Generation 1,
Awesome.
specifically, that will be able to make this available to their community. And that is, of course, in large part due to the fact that we have the only aerospace manufacturing training program in the state of Louisiana.
Yes.
Putting people to work almost immediately after 1 year, they can start an internship at Boeing.
Yes, and that's huge. It's so funny. You have so many things going on, and I thought I had an exhaustive list, but clearly I was nowhere near, able to cover everything you have going on. Did you want to talk a little bit about that program as well, just for anyone in the community who might, have a plane obsession like I do, or might be interested in potentially participating in that program?
Of course, because
I know that's been huge, not just for Nunez, but for the region, truly, and for allowing our state to keep Boeing here as a company that thrives.
Absolutely, and as you said, we don't want to be a secret. The fact that the SLS is being built as the largest, most powerful rocket ever to launch. This is part of the Artemis project to bring individuals to the moon and then to Mars. So our students are helping to manufacture those rockets, right? We're the only aerospace manufacturing training program in the state of Louisiana. There's only about 4 in the country. And so we are working with Boeing. They've been incredible partners for us. And in a short period of time, we've placed approximately 40 students who are part of their workforce in developing the SLS rocket.
It's huge. Start at Nunez, go to the moon.
I
love it.
Right.
Exactly.
And you guys can have that.
Shoot for the stars,
No
exactly.
charge. But I love, again, there's so many things happening here. I think a lot of people just in our community don't realize it. And so if you guys can think of anything else that I haven't mentioned today, I do want to give you all the opportunity to kind of bring anything up that I might not have covered or might not have thought of.
You said something about us not being a secret, and we should not be a secret here in this community. We have things, it's community college, right? Community. So that's what we're here for the community. Not just for St. Bernard, but for the region. Orleans, Plaquemines, we have a good relationship with a company, Venture Global, that we partnered with to help the residents of Plaquemines Parish because they're building the facility there. So we have a direct involvement with an initiative that they have for their residents. So Nunez is not just for the community, it's for the region.
Yep.
But we still have that sense of community, right? We have programs that can fit pretty much everyone, and everyone is invited to take part in it and to get trained and educated. All of us are workforce.
Yes.
Everything is a path to the workforce, right? So that's what we're here for. And Dr. Tinney is leading that charge, so we appreciate you.
All 3 of you are. But I'm glad you mentioned that too, because it just reminded me, if there are any employers or anyone who's a St. Bernard Chamber member or who's involved with the Economic Development Foundation who's listening to this, who has positions open, Nunez can also do customized training.
Definitely.
And that has been huge for partners like Associated Terminals, for Venture Global. So if you are listening to this Pulse of the Parish podcast and you are really struggling to find those people who are qualified to do the jobs that you have available, please do reach out to Nunez. I think they would be more than open to that conversation and to creating something custom for your company.
Julie has done that. She'll talk about it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, a lot of companies are starting to realize that the aspect of it's hard to find the workforce, so train from within. And really, and that's just good business to train your people and raise them up and bring them to the next level. And so, let's sit down and have a conversation. And if we don't have the training, then we'll start researching what it would take to, in turn, hopefully put that training into place. Because we are here to serve, and serve the needs of the community. But this is it's, as we said, a different time from past, and that aspect of looking and technology's changing so quickly. Needs and skills are changing very quickly, and so we want to be responsive to our business community, and so in having those conversations.
And thank you for bringing up the customized training, because it is critical that we offer those opportunities to incumbent workers. So it may look like a very specified, as you said, safety training, or maybe it's some type of IT or technical application that they want to have with an upgraded software. But the other conversation, and we have sessions that we have already delivered, mainly pre-COVID, but the soft skills that are so needed in industry partners across the board. So things like leadership, right? That, team building, leadership, those types of trainings, we offer those as well. And so it can be a very customized opportunity to do something like a lunch and learn or do a series or, just whatever fits for that particular company.
And I have not been able to attend one of the sessions yet, but do you want to talk about the Pelican Leadership Institute? I know you just launched that in partnership with the Sloan Group.
Yes,
and
did.
They're all on my calendar. I just need to be able to make it one day.
Well, and we will happily have you join us, because this was envisioned as an opportunity for us, as to Brian Gibson's point of being a community college, serving our community. We, I think in this COVID, and I want to say post-COVID, I'm hoping we're walking through the door toward that post-COVID era. But in any case, we know it's about the people right now and professional development and so much that's changed, as you said. And so we want to invest in our employees, and we were looking for professional development opportunities. So we instituted the Pelican Leadership Institute, and then decided to open it up to our community partners for this year. And so the first, each semester there's a topic that will be focused on. In the fall, we delivered professional communications, which we know communication is key for any company, an organization, an individual. And this semester, we are focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. And so we are very proud to bring that series forward and open the dialogue as part of a positive and inclusive workplace. We have contracted with speakers. So Sloan Group came in initially, and of course they're very well known. And then also we have Dima Garwi, who's coming in.
Yes.
Also as part of this series. So we have some very esteemed, high quality speakers and experts on these particular topics that may help facilitate conversation at your workplace. So they're welcome to come. We just ask that people register in advance, but we are really happy to deliver that to the community.
And they're no cost. So if you're listening to this podcast, definitely check out nunez.edu to look out for those programs.
And the last thing, since you said if there's anything else, I'll just add this to the conversation. As far as a community college, for people to understand that we are convenient, we are accessible, as I said already, affordable. We oftentimes have our students supported through, as I said, scholarships or institutional aid or grants, but also for our employers. We can work with employers and oftentimes work through other, just collaboration with other entities so that we can make training affordable for an industry partner. So I just wanted to reiterate that point, because we do serve our community, and Brian, you said our region, but with something even for people to understand the impact that we have at our college, it goes beyond that. We're the only aerospace program in the state that's carrying forth a national initiative to get to the moon. So, the impact, it's like start locally, but think globally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Actually, not even globally, universe.
Yes.
Right. And so, that really is part of the thinking process about where we put focus on our programs.
And we've had this conversation, Dr. Tinney, but I think the work that you're doing is making Nunez Community College not just a partner in the community or something that people who are locally thinking about what their options are, but it's truly a destination for people around the state and the region. I know actually a majority of your students do not come from St. Bernard Parish, and so I think that's just a tremendous ability to tell the tale of Nunez and to talk about all the amazing things that you have going on and to showcase how many opportunities you're creating for people. So I want to thank you all for being here today. I think you all have done a fantastic job just creating opportunity for St. Bernardians, and thank you for your partnership with the Economic Development Foundation, the Chamber, and if you want, I encourage everyone to reach out to Julie, Brian, or Dr. Tinney on programs or opportunities to get involved with the college. They're a huge asset to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Yes.
Thanks
Of
for
course.
having us.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you very much.
Awesome. painless for everyone.
It was.
I don't have any way of looking for time.
This is the easiest part of my day. I enjoy it. I'll laugh. This is great.
Yeah.
Can we do it again tomorrow?